Right, how's it going? Hope you're good. It's Aidan here again, coach for men, ultimately helping you get from skinny fat to jacked and lean without living like a fucking boring bodybuilder. So just in this video, I just decided to film an entire push workout, something that I do. It's my first push workout of the week. So the way I usually schedule my current split that I'm doing is a four days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. So Monday and Thursday. Monday I do pull, Tuesday push, rest Wednesday, Thursday pull and Friday push. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in another video, sort of talking about really good splits that I take my clients through and that I do myself, because I like to practice what I fucking preach, obviously. You know, I don't give my clients one thing to do and then do something entirely differently myself. It works really well for me, it works really well for them. It's not the only way to do it, it's just something that's really popular with them, with myself. So basically it's a push and pull sort of front and back split. So this is push day number 1, which I do on a Tuesday, which is all down the front of my body. So we're hitting quads, we're hitting chest, shoulders and triceps. So front of the body, technically it's biceps, but triceps, because that sort of belongs in the pushing categories. When you're doing presses, you're using your chest, your shoulders, your triceps. So that's why we split it the way that we do. It isn't necessarily the only way to do it. There's no necessarily right or wrong way of doing it, but it's a really good way of balancing out like a 4-day program. Your workouts then, they don't have to be too long. They can just be 35, 45 minutes. And the way that I'm doing it as well is all of my exercises that you're gonna see me do here, it's just 2 sets. 2 hard sets to failure or thereabouts, but all exercises for every single set, we're just pushing ourselves to failure. So it's a low volume method. You just have to work hard in those just couple of sets per exercise. I really like doing it. It's a really popular way, again, for my clients. They really like it as well. It's not super high volume. They don't have to do 4, 5, 6 sets of an exercise. And it's a great way of sort of testing your limits and being able to push yourself in a very time effective manner as well. Anyway, so let's get into it. So we are away. Let's turn the sound down on my video so it doesn't interfere with you. Right, so this is my first exercise. So it's just my first and only leg exercise of the day. It's just a big squat movement. So my first push day, I like to do a big squatting movement. This can vary, Smith squats, barbell back squats. In this case, I'm doing a pendulum squat, which is fucking brutal, to be honest with you. Like, it's just 2 sets going to failure. As you can see just there, I've only got a 15 kilo plate on that machine. This is the machine in my gym is really fucking heavy, and it just completely isolates. Like, yes, it brings a bit of glutes into it, but it's just all quads. It's so fucking tough. You see, I only managed like, what was it, 6 or 7 reps there. I'll have it up in the video when I edit it, how many I do. But just as a reference, this was my second set, so I went a little bit lighter to make sure I did enough reps. But as a reference, like, one of the other squat machines in the gym, I'm able to rep out 200 fucking kilos. And here I just got a little 15 on, so it just shows how tough that movement is, how brutal a pendulum squat movement is compared to other squat movements. And this machine in particular is very fucking heavy. So yeah, I'm struggling already. This is why I only do 2 sets, because I don't like training legs that much these days, to be honest with you. I went through like 2-3 years like plus of just solid powerlifting during like COVID times, lockdown particular. Didn't have much access to anything other than like bars and bench press and stuff like that, so that's all we were doing. So that was my legs. That's all I'm doing for legs in this push workout. So we're moving on to the upper body. So I'm just hitting a couple of sets of chest fly. I like to hit a chest fly first. For me, someone who used to be all shoulders and it took me ages to build that chest up, I like to start my push workout quite often with like a sort of an isolated chest movement to really get mind to muscle connection into the chest, really get some blood into that chest as well, take a little emphasis off the shoulders. So this is just a very simple chest fly, which I just pushed for a couple of sets to failure as well. So if you notice what I mean by failure, you can see I literally physically cannot complete the rep all the way in. I can only go like halfway in. I'm only doing like partial reps on the last couple of reps. And those reps don't count towards the numbers. It's just a little bit of extra work, just extra stimulus on the muscle. So here, I mean, let's count. So we're onto the cable sort of flat decline press. Another one I like to do, cables, it's constant tension through the chest. How many reps have I done? 4, 5? So let's say I've done 5, so this is 6. So that just about made that rep, whatever it was, 7, let's say it's 7. 8, just about made that rep. So I still completed the rep. So, and that was not quite a completed rep there. And then that one was another half rep, so I was done. So I think it was 7. So I did 7 full reps. And then if you complete a rep, you have to go for another one. So then my 8th rep, I only managed half a rep there. So that's where I failed. So in my records, I would write that weight, I got 7 reps. But then 8 and 9, I still had a little bit of output left. So I still pushed myself for another couple of like half partial reps. And there's a lot of tension and data and research which suggests that that is really good extra sort of muscle stimulus, that it's good to push yourself past that point. Here again, couldn't complete that rep, but I did it anyway. But I don't record it on my numbers. So I record all of my weights, all of my sets, all of my reps, what I manage. But the ones I fail at, like if I end up doing like 2 or 3 half reps once I cannot complete any more full reps, they don't count on my numbers, if that makes sense. So we did more of a decline chest movement with the cables. So this is more of an incline, closer towards a shoulder press. It's kind of halfway between an incline and a shoulder press. I sort of count this as a shoulder press. So you might sort of do very upright shoulder presses yourself. Nothing wrong with that. It can just put your shoulder at a little bit more risk if you go like that much upright. So I like to take it back a couple of notches. It's a little bit safer. Still keeps plenty of tension on the delts working those shoulders and a little bit of upper chest as well. So we're hitting a bit of delts, bit of upper chest in this sort of half shoulder press, half incline press movement. You also notice that my elbows are in like 45 degrees-ish, so I don't have them flared right out either. And again, nothing wrong with that. It just, for me, sometimes I've had little shoulder twinges in the past. It's just a little bit safer to bring it into like a 45-degree angle. So that's why I like to do that as well. So those were my big pushing movements, just 2 main, I did a little chest fly and then 2 main pushing movements, one sort of at a flat decline angle and one at an incline shoulder pressing angle. That's it. That was the main pushing movements of my workout. Once I've done that, and then move on to the isolating stuff. So here I'm doing a rear cable fly, rear sort of cable lateral raise. So in this one, I'd like to do a rear raise. And then in my second push session on Friday, I do a little bit more of a diagonal front directed raise. So I get both angles, one going sort of behind me-ish and the other going slightly in front. So it really caps off them delts at sort of those sort of complete different angles, hits it at a much sort of larger sort of, I don't know what I'm trying to say, hits it at multiple angles basically. I need to chill out, I need to slow down and breathe. You can see it from the angle here as well. So I'm doing my other arm. If you're doing single arm exercises, you always want to start on your weaker side. So you want to do your weaker side first, and then you want to move on to your stronger side after that. All right, so for me, my left shoulder is actually a little bit weaker than my right. So I did my left raises first, hit that to failure, and just match it on my right. So you see, I didn't have to work that hard on my right side. That doesn't matter here. I'm actually left-handed, so I started on my right when it comes to tricep extension. This is just a little tricep kickback. So I started on my right, so I'm pushing my right side to failure, making sure when you're doing triceps, you're doing that full range, getting full stretch all the way back up. And that upper arm, you keep that upper arm as still as you can. You're just bending and straightening the arm. So this is sort of the kickback where your shoulder is stretched slightly behind you. That's that first tricep movement. And the second tricep movement is an overhead. So with triceps, you want to hit one where it's sort of more of a kickback variation, and the other where it's sort of more of an overhead extension. And this is just to mix it up a little bit. I'm doing a dumbbell overhead extension. You see how I'm lining my upper arm up so it's as vertical as possible, because you kind of want to line it up with gravity as much as you can, because if you've got it like going out to the side or something like that, you've got your elbow flaring out, it's not in line with gravity very well. So that is what you want to make sure that you're doing when you're doing like arm exercises with dumbbells. You don't have, if you're not using cables, because cables you can go in any direction because the tension stays, the constant tension stays there no matter what direction you're going out. But if you have just a dumbbell, you have to line it up with gravity. That's my workout. That's literally it. So we had squats, one squat movement, and then we had 2 main pressing movements after I did a couple of sets of chest flies just to get the chest going. But ultimately, I didn't necessarily have to do those chest flies, to be honest with you. Like, they weren't even necessary as a minimum part of, like, you know, muscle stimulus and programming. Didn't really need them necessarily. But I got my main squat movement. I do 2 leg pushing movements on push day 2 on Friday. But because the squat movement takes quite a lot of energy, quite a lot of mental fatigue, I just have that on its own as the leg work for this push session. 2 main upper body presses, with one at sort of a decline angle or a flat angle and the other at an incline. If I take you through my second push session, which I will eventually, you'll see that the first exercise is more of an incline and the second is more of a flat decline. I swap it around the other way on Friday. Then you've got a shoulder isolation exercise. So one hitting like the lateral delts. So this one was a rear lateral delt movement. Second push day, I'll do a front lateral delt movement. And then 2 tricep exercises. One of the kickback, one of the overhead. That is my push day. 2 sets of everything, hitting failure, noting down your numbers, trying to beat those numbers the following week. So in this case, what you probably would have seen is that, like, my main lifts on my first set of each exercise, the reps weren't too high. The reps were sort of like, I managed like 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that. So I'll stick with that weight until I manage to get that weight up to either 10 or 12 reps, typically. Once I manage to get up to 10 or 12 reps, depending what the movement is, then I'll take the weight back up and that'll take my reps back down to like 6 to 8. And that's how the 2 set kind of thing works, mainly focusing on trying to beat your personal best in the first set, and then just trying to do a second set just to add more stimulus to that muscle, trying to push to failure again. If I need to take the weight down for the second set, then I will. Happy days, push workout. Any questions or comments, feel free, drop them below. If you found this useful, if you found this quite insightful, if you'd like to know a little bit more, again, comment below, but like and subscribe, all that YouTube shit. You know, this is a new channel. I'm just getting the ball rolling here, helping guys go from skinny fat to jacked and lean around your regular work life. No longer, typically helping guys no longer in their like 20s, you know, so you've got busy work life, relationships, possibly some kids, social and family responsibilities, all that stuff going on that you don't necessarily have when you're like late teens, early 20s, when you have all the time in the world and all the high testosterone levels in the world as well to make some mad gains and train like 6-7 days a week. But you can't realistically, you can't do that in from your late 20s, your early 30s, your 40s and stuff. So this is what I do, this is who I help, and I practice what I preach. So hopefully you enjoyed this little push workout breakdown, and I will speak to you soon.